Nneka was known for her strict demeanor and unwavering love for her only son, Chima. She had raised Chima on her own after the untimely death of her husband, pouring all her love and energy into ensuring he had the best life possible. She was fiercely protective of him, and many in the village said she loved him rather too much. Chima, on the other hand, was a tall and handsome young man. He was the pride of Umuofia. He was kind, hardworking, and respectful, embodying all the virtues his mother had instilled in him. Nneka's greatest fear was that one day a woman would come and take away Chima from her. She believed no woman would ever be good enough for her beloved son. One day, Chima returned from a neighboring village with exciting news. "Mother, I have met someone," he announced, his eyes shining with happiness. Nneka's heart skipped a beat. "Who is she?" she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Well, her name is Fejiro. She is from Eku and is the most wonderful woman I have ever met. I have decided to get married to her." Nneka's face hardened. "Did you say Eku? She is not from our village. How can you trust someone from outside?" Chima sighed. "Ha, Mama. I love her. She is kind, hardworking, and will make a very good wife. Please, give her a chance." Reluctantly, Nneka agreed to meet Fejiro. When the day came, Fejiro arrived at their home, her face beaming with joy and excitement. She was beautiful, with a warm smile that instantly charmed everyone she met. Everyone, of course, except Nneka. Fejiro greeted her with respect, bowing slightly as she said, "Good afternoon, Ma. It is an honor and joy to meet you." Nneka barely acknowledged her, muttering a curt welcome. She scrutinized Fejiro with cold eyes, looking for any flaw that would justify her disapproval. Despite Nneka's chilly reception, Fejiro remained kind and respectful. Determined to win her over, she helped around the house, cooked delicious meals, and did her best to make Nneka comfortable. But no matter what Fejiro did, Nneka's attitude remained the same. Months later, the wedding took place in the village square, a joyous occasion filled with music, dancing, and laughter. Chima and Fejiro exchanged vows under the watchful eyes of their families and friends, despite Nneka's disapproval. Nneka, however, watched with a stern expression, her heart heavy with resentment. After the wedding, Fejiro moved into Nneka's house. The young bride worked tirelessly to please her mother-in-law, but Nneka's harsh words and cold demeanor never ceased. Every mistake Fejiro made, no matter how small, was met with severe criticism. "Fejiro, why is the soup too salty? Can't you do anything right?" Nneka would snap. Fejiro would apologize and try harder, but nothing seemed to change Nneka's mind. Chima, caught in the middle, did his best to mediate. "Mother, please. Fejiro is doing her best. Give her a chance." But Nneka's heart was hardened. She saw Fejiro as a threat, someone who had come to steal her son away. Her resentment grew into hatred each passing day. Months passed, and Fejiro's life became a living nightmare. Nneka's strictness turned into outright hostility. She would refuse to eat the food Fejiro cooked, making snide remarks about her upbringing and capabilities. Fejiro's once bright and cheerful spirit began to fade under the constant strain of her mother-in-law's abuse. Chima, seeing the toll it was taking on his wife, grew increasingly worried. "Mother, I beg you, please try to be kinder to Fejiro. She is my wife and the woman I love. Your treatment of her is affecting us both." Nneka would dismiss his pleas, saying, I only want what is best for you, Chima. She is not worthy of you. One day, Nneka's resentment reached a boiling point. She decided that the only way to get rid of Fejiro was to make her so ill that she would have no choice but to leave. Nneka remembered an old herb her mother had once mentioned, one that could cause severe illness if ingested in large quantity. She knew exactly where to find it. Early the next morning, Nneka set out for the forest, her heart filled with dark determination. She walked through the dense foliage, her mind racing with thoughts of how to carry out her plan. She reached the clearing where the herb grew, its distinctive leaves and flowers standing out amongst the other plants. Nneka carefully harvested the herb, placing it in a small pouch. As she made her way back home, a sense of foreboding washed over her. She knew that what she was planning to do was wrong, but her jealousy and desperation had clouded her judgment. She convinced herself that it was the only way to protect her son. That evening, Nneka began to prepare dinner. She walked in silence, her hands trembling slightly as she added the herb to one of the dishes. She made sure it was Fejiro's portion, mixing it very thoroughly. As she walked, she felt a pang of guilt but quickly pushed it aside. Fejiro, unaware of Nneka's intention, continued with her usual tasks. She had grown accustomed to the daily tension and criticism, but still held onto hope that one day, things would change. As dinner approached, Nneka called everyone to the table. She served the food, her heart pounding in her chest. Chima, noticing the strained look on his mother's face, felt a sense of unease. He decided to take a small taste from each plate, a habit he had developed out of concern for Fejiro's well-being. When he tasted Fejiro's portion, a bitter and unusual flavor hit his tongue. Alarmed, he quickly spat it out and looked at his mother. "Mother, what did you put in this food?" he demanded. Nneka's face went pale, and she stammered, I just used the usual ingredients. Why do you ask?" Chima's eyes narrowed with suspicion. "This tastes strange. Fejiro, don't eat from this thing. Something is not right." Fejiro, sensing the seriousness in Chima's voice, put her down her fork. A sense of dread washed over her as she looked at Nneka, who seemed to be on the verge of panic. Chima's mind raced as he tried to piece together what was happening. His mother's behavior, the strange taste, the tension in the air. It all pointed to something sinister, so he stood up, his expression filled with anger and disbelief. "Mother, what have you done?" he demanded, his voice shaking with emotion. Nneka, realizing that her plan had been discovered, broke down in tears. I just wanted to protect you, Chima. I wanted things to go back to the way they used to be before Fejiro came into our lives. I didn't mean to." Chima's heart ached with a mix of anger and sorrow. He couldn't believe that his own mother would go to such lengths to drive Fejiro away. "Mother, you have crossed the line. Fejiro is my wife, and I love her. How could you do something so terrible?" Nneka's sobs grew as she realized the full extent of her actions. She had not only endangered Fejiro's life, but also risked losing her son's love and trust forever. Fejiro, despite the shock and betrayal she felt, approached Nneka with compassion. "Ma, I understand that you are trying to protect your son, but this is not the way. We need to find a way to live together in peace." Chima, moved by Fejiro's kindness, took her hand and looked at his mother. "Mother, Fejiro is right. We need to find a way to move forward. But you have to understand that what you did was wrong, and it will take time for us to heal from this." Nneka nodded through tears, realizing the gravity of her actions. She had nearly destroyed the very thing she was trying to protect. As she looked at Fejiro, she saw not an enemy, but a woman who was genuinely in love with her son and was willing to forgive even the gravest of offenses. Everyone, however, forgot that Chima had tasted that food. Days later, Chima's health began to deteriorate. The herb Nneka had used was potent, and even the small amount he had ingested was enough to make him seriously ill. He experienced severe stomach pains, vomiting, and a high fever. Fedo and Nneka watched in horror as his condition worsened. Fedo ran around the village, seeking help from anyone who would listen. She visited the village healers, describing Chima's symptoms in detail. The healers tried various remedies, but nothing seemed to work. Chima's condition remained critical, and his life hung in a balance. Nneka was consumed with guilt and despair. She had not only failed to protect her son, but had also caused him great harm. She spent her days praying to the gods for his recovery and her nights weeping in regrets. One evening, as Chima lay unconscious in his bed, Fedo sat by his side holding his hand. "Chima, please hold on," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "We will find a way to make you better." The village elders, seeing the seriousness of the situation, called a meeting to discuss what could be done. "We have to find a cure for Chima," said Chief Okoro, the village head. "We cannot let this illness take him away from us." The elders decided to send word to a renowned healer who lived in a distant village. The healer was known for his knowledge of rare herbs and remedies. A messenger was dispatched immediately, and everyone waited anxiously for his arrival. Days turned into weeks, and Chima's condition showed no signs of improvement. Fedo remained by his side, her love and determination unwavering. Nneka too stayed close, her heart heavy with remorse. She had learned a hard lesson, one that came at a great cost. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the healer arrived. His name was Obinna, an elderly man with a long white beard and wise eyes. He listened carefully to Fedo's account of Chima's symptoms and examined him thoroughly. "I will do my best to help him," Obinna said, his voice calm and reassuring. "But it will not be easy. The herb he had ingested is very powerful, so we must act really quickly." Obinna gathered the necessary herbs and began preparing a special concoction. He instructed Fedo and Nneka to administer the remedy to Chima every few hours. The village held its breath, hoping and praying for a miracle. Days passed, and slowly but surely, Chima's condition began to improve. The fever subsided, and his strength started to return. Fedo and Nneka were overjoyed, their prayers finally answered. One morning, Chima opened his eyes and looked around the room. He saw Fedo sitting beside him, her eyes filled with relief and love. "Fedo," he whispered, his voice weak but steady. "Thank you for not giving up on me." Fedo smiled through her tears. "I will never give up on you, Chima. I love you too much to let you go." Nneka, standing at the foot of the bed, felt a surge of gratitude and shame. She had nearly destroyed her son's happiness with her jealousy and pride. She approached Chima and Fedo, her head bowed in humility. "Chima, Fedo, I am so sorry for everything I have done," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "I was wrong, and I see that now. Please, forgive me." Chima looked at his mother, his expression a mix of sadness and forgiveness. "Mother, what you did was really terrible, but I know you did it out of love for me. It will take some time, but I believe we can heal as a family." Fedo nodded in agreement. "We must learn to live together in peace and love. That is the only way forward, please." And so, with time and patience, the family began to heal. As the months passed, Chima's health continued to improve. The village celebrated his recovery with a grand feast, a testament to the strength and resilience of the human spirit. Nneka, now fully aware of the gravity of her actions, dedicated herself to making amends. Nneka's transformation was evident to everybody in Umuahia. She became more involved in community activities, offering her wisdom and experience to those in need. She also began to form a genuine bond with Fedo, recognizing her as the kind and loving woman her son had chosen. One day, as Fedo and Nneka walked together in the kitchen, Nneka turned to her. "Fedo, I owe you so much. Your kindness and patience have shown me the true meaning of family. I am grateful for your forgiveness." She smiled warmly. "Ma, we all make mistakes. What matters is what we learn from them and grow. I am happy that we can move forward together as a family." Chima, witnessing the growing bond between his mother and wife, felt a deep sense of relief and happiness. He had always hoped for peace between the two of them, and now it seemed that hope was becoming a reality. In the end, it was not the challenges they had faced that defined them, but the strength and compassion with which they overcame them. And in that, they found a new beginning, one filled with hope, joy, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow.